Hey, COS 133, it's Donna Burke, and today I want to talk to you about our next module and chapter on goal setting. So we're just finishing module 1, which hopefully got you off to a good start, knowing some of the resources, getting to know your classmates, contacting me via email, learning about our course and the course information sheet. And now we're moving on to learning more about you. What do you value? What are your priorities? What are your goals in life? Your career goals, your personal goals. So that's what all the next couple of modules are all about, is getting to know yourself better so that you could achieve your goals. So let's take a look here. So we're moving in for finishing up module 1, and we're going into goal setting module 2. So the first thing to do is read chapter 2, right? Remember, the textbook can be found under course information. It's an electronic version of the textbook you could find right there on the corner on the side. And I also have a shortcut to it right here. Shortcut to chapter 2, goal setting. So the first thing to do is to read that chapter. We have a journal to do, a video to watch. I also just added a flash extra credit discussion on how you think the course is going and how the semester is going for you. We have a video quiz on goal setting. And then we have the goal setting project that you need to complete in this module. So it's going to take a little effort and a little work and some focus, but I know you will get there. So I want to be able to show you why we're doing this. I think the why is so important. So in order to achieve your goals of finishing this semester, getting a college degree, it all starts with what you're doing today and making choices and what your values are. So again, one of the things in these modules, the next few modules that we're going to be looking at is, who are you as a person? What do you value? And I often talk to students about trying to come up with maybe their top 3 values. Could it be family, education, friends, a particular hobby, an aspect like compassion and empathy? What do you hold true? What is your guiding principle in your life? Because for the next 15 weeks while you're in school, oftentimes we have to be focused on what's most important, because there's only just so much time in the day. And that's where we're going to make a connection between what you value, your priorities, and how you spend your time. It's all connected. In the past year, I've been working with students remotely, and we put together this collage of things that they value, and they put little hearts on them, so it was kind of cool when I was teaching via Zoom. So up in this corner is sort of financial stability. Down here is education. Here is physical activity, physical health. Up in this corner is family and relationships. In the center is faith, spirituality. And then this lower part here is community, helping in the community, being a part of a team. So as you're thinking about who you are and what you value, you may want to think about these images and what do they mean to you, and what images would you put on a board like this. The textbook talks about growth versus fixed mindset. And this is really important concept when you're thinking about, I moved the slide, sorry about that. When you're thinking about your goals, right? So a growth mindset implies that we are capable of change. We're capable of we're trying new things. We're open to experiences and changing. A fixed mindset would be more like a stick in the mud, so to speak, or a tire in the mud, like the picture shows, right? I'm not capable of changing. And I hear students use fixed mindset phrases all the time. I have used them in the past myself. One that I commonly hear is, I can't do math, right? Many folks struggle with mathematical concepts and problems. So I hear students, and I used to say this myself, I can't do math, right? Well, what if you added 3 little letters to the end of that? I can't do math yet. Or I struggle with math. Or, I find math challenging, but I'm working hard to resolve that. I'm getting a tutor. I'm doing the best that I can. That's more of a growth mindset than saying, I can't do it. If you can't do it, then you've lost all your momentum to even try. So over the next couple of weeks, be aware, are you talking to yourself in a way that's a growth mindset or coming from a place of a fixed mindset? And maybe try to redirect yourself if you do find that you're coming, and be gentle with yourself, but try to say, you know what, I'm not going to say that anymore. I'm going to add yet to the end of the sentence, or I'm going to try to reframe it. And you'll see it can make a big difference for you. So the concept of goal setting, what makes a good goal? And you'll often see this acronym SMART goals. And sometimes the letters stand for different things in some of the versions of this, but the one that we're working with today is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. And so what that basically means is, if you have a goal, trying to make sure that the goal meets this criteria. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples. So a common example that sometimes I know I use periodically is I want to lose weight. And for some folks, if that's what you need to do, that's a great goal to have. It's a healthy goal. But oftentimes people can just say, I want to lose weight. And that's the end of the sentence, right? Without giving it, I want to lose a certain amount of weight by a certain date, right? And hold ourselves accountable that way. Or it might be unrealistic. I want to lose 100 pounds in a month. Well, that's not healthy or realistic. So do some research. What's a healthy amount of weight to lose, let's say, in a month? And I've done the research, and it's usually about 4 to 5 pounds, depending on the person, right? So I might say by, February 15th, I want to lose 5 pounds, okay? And it's now January 15th. So I would then go and check every week, am I losing a pound? And if I'm not, what do I got to do? I got to change my actions somehow. So I may have to adjust how I'm eating, the choices I'm making. So a good way to say that would be that you're planning to lose a certain amount of weight by a certain date. So you see, we're making it realistic, we're making it specific, we're giving it a time frame. And we're going to be able to hold ourselves accountable. So when I get on that scale at the end of my time frame, I could see, and I can measure it every week, because meeting our goals is not just like a long-term thing, it's every day. Another one I hear students say is, I want to do good in school, which is a great aspiration to have, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I also hear sometimes students say, I want to pass my classes. Passing is a D. So I would want everybody to have the bar somewhat higher than that. You really should be shooting for a B or a 3.0. I'd love for everybody in this class should get an A. But generally speaking, maybe shoot for a B. I want to get at least a B average in all my classes this semester. And then every assignment you get back from your teacher, if it's not at that B range, you have to take some action. You have to put in more time with your schoolwork. Maybe you have to get a tutor. Maybe you have to talk to the teacher, but catch it early. So if you get an exam grade back and it's a 60 and you were hoping for an 80, you have to do something about that, right? And not give up. That's the difference between making it and not, right? So a better way to frame that goal might be to say what your overall GPA was and what semester. I did this slide last semester, but so for the fall 21 semester, you want to get at least a 3.0 in each of your classes. Another common goal is I want to get out of debt. Who doesn't want to get out of debt, right? But what you have to realize is, in order to get out of debt, I have to say, well, how much do I owe, right? And then what would be a reasonable monthly payment that I could afford to get out of debt? And then how long would it take me? A year, 2 years, 3 years? It would also require me to stop adding to my debt at the same time. That's a tricky thing for some folks to do, right? So a better way to say this is, depending on your situation, I want to pay X amount of money on my credit card, my loan, whatever it is, and not purchase anything additional, or keep my purchases that I put on my credit card under a certain amount, and I plan to have my debt paid off by a certain date. That would be a much more effective way of stating that goal. Another one is, I should get a tutor, right? A better way of saying that, I'm going to email, call, I'm going to go on Zoom and set up a tutoring appointment by a certain date, like by next Tuesday, next Thursday, I'm going to do this. So when you get to the goals project and it has you set up short-term goals, keep these kinds of things in mind. I'm going to contact my teacher by Friday and talk about my grade. So in achieving your goals, we often come upon certain obstacles or distractions, and then we also have supports, and sometimes we don't realize we have those supports and we can utilize them. So in the goals project, I'm going to be asking you to think about what are your obstacles and how can you reduce those obstacles. Sometimes we can't eliminate distractions or obstacles, but how can I reduce them? So maybe setting aside time to put your phone away and games and other things and just focus on getting your schoolwork done. Maybe it's finding a schedule that works for you, using your supports like tutoring, your success coaches, your professors. Those are the things I want you to be thinking about, because we're all going to run into obstacles in trying to reach our goals. It's how we get beyond those obstacles that make the difference on whether we're going to achieve our goals or not. And then finally, start thinking about your values. I want you to somewhere write down your top 3 values, 3 goals you have for the semester, and 3 things you're going to do today to reach those goals. Right? What are you going to do to reach those goals? And that's going to make you so much better prepared for the goals project, but more importantly, better prepared for your life, right? So this whole thing is looking at how our values influence our goals, and then our goals should really influence our priorities. What is my priority right now? Is it family, school, work, whatever it is? That dictates how you're going to spend your time. And along the way, using self-care practices too. We've learned a lot about that in the last year and a half, right? Taking care of ourselves, building in time in your schedule to decompress, using things like Netflix or your phone or other things as rewards once you get your work done. That usually works really well for me. I love this quote: the way we spend our time defines who we are. And I think this is often true. Think about, how do you spend your time? A lot of us spend a lot of time at work. We often don't think that really defines who we are, but if we're spending a lot of time in work, it usually means that we're hardworking, we're dedicated, and that we're trying to support ourselves and our family. So think about how you spend your time. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the goals project here in Module 2. So you're going to come here, you're going to open it up. We have a PDF there that you can look at. We have some information here, some instructions. But if you go to it, I messed up here. Let me see if there you go. We have a Word document right here with it in there. And you open that up. And you have a little bit of time with this, so make sure that you start now. First thing you're going to do is, in our textbook and on the module, we have some links to some assessments. Personality assessments, value assessments. I really think you should do the 16 personality assessment. It's kind of cool, but I want you to do at least 2 of those, and because you're going to use those results to write an essay about. So the opening part, step 1, is research who you are. Okay, so you're going to do those assessments, and then you're going to write a beginning essay about how those values and results relate to your goals and match you. Should be about 100 to 150 words in that beginning essay, okay? And then step 2, if we look down at step 2, it's writing 5 goals that you found on the internet for tips for setting goals. So goal setting tips that you find on the internet, and I want you to just cite very simply where you found those, okay? Just the website, nothing fancy, but I want you to list 5 tips for goal setting that you found on the internet. And then action steps. So I want you to have 1 long-term goal. Remember, keep it SMART: specific, measurable, time-bound. A midterm goal, like the semester. So you're going to have 2 midterm goals and some short-term goals. So 3 short-term goals. What are you doing today, this week, this weekend, whatever is the case, to reach those goals? And then you're going to list 3 distractions or challenges that you have in your life that could prevent you or cause you difficulty in reaching your goals, and how might you, can't really eliminate them, I always mean to change that. How can you reduce those? So how do you reduce those? 3 supports you have in your life and how you plan to use those. And then a closing reflection of, again, about 150 words, just restating, what did you learn from doing this exercise? How do your top 3 values in your life relate to your goals? What did you learn from researching about goal setting? How do those fit you? What's your action plan? And how are you prepared to face your obstacles and achieve your goals? So hopefully, this helps you give you an idea of what we're looking for in the next module, and really just dig in. Dig in and put your whole self into this module. And I promise, if you do that, you will really get something out of it. So good luck. Contact me if you have any questions. I hope you have a great week.